Alright, so today, March 9th, is not only my birthday, but also a very important day in my life, especially because this is the day that I became a student manager at a local dining hall at my school. That's the reason why I'm wearing this hat, is to represent them. I'll tell you why this dining hall was important to me. It is not only the place that I met my best friends and I learned how to really work, but this is also something that was important to my family as well, because this is, when I was first working there, like most people there, it was for money, and because I was trying to pay for an apartment. But I quickly learned that, or suddenly learned that not only was I hired there, my sister was hired there, but also my mother was hired there. So, you know, this was a family tree kind of thing, and it was just a huge honor for me to know that I was not the only one that ever worked there, and the fact that can bond us is even bigger. And so my work at Nelson became even more important to me because I felt like I had to prove myself to the organization because my family had also worked there, and I felt like I needed to put myself into the system to excel because I wanted to be as good as they were, however good they were. And within the first 2 years, I suddenly accelerated at work. I felt like it was a great place to work, so I worked even harder than I ever worked before. And after the first 2 years, I turned my application to become a student manager, and after that, my life completely changed. The kinds of things that a student manager does is very, very important, and I will tell you that Nelson is a big deal to this university. I know that whatever school you go to, you will have that Nelson there, but I will tell you why Nelson is very important to me. For me, Nelson was the epitome of dining halls. This was the biggest dining hall that there was, and this was by far the most prideful one, at least in my opinion. I don't know about what other people would say, but I think that for me it was the one that boasted the most. Nelson, I know whatever school you go to, you'll have the Nelson, dining hall. You'll have the dining hall that will be the biggest and the most well known. It's important to me, and Nelson is important to me, mostly because this is the first place that I learned how to really organize myself and to really become a more organized person and better person. Recently at work, we talked about work structure and management structure, and this by far showcases it. When I was preparing for the interview for the job, one of my colleagues asked me, well, how do you define professionalism? And obviously I didn't know how to even begin to explain that, but I definitely learned. I definitely learned what it meant after working at Nelson. The people there are very, very responsible, they're very, very respectful, and they are very, very professional with everything that they do. The way that the management structure works, the way that we do things at the dining hall, it just showcases that we want to be the most prepared, and it just kind of proves that Nelson is the biggest and most big deal, because we pride ourselves in the kind of work that we do. There are other dining halls, in class someone discussed another one that was close to us and how that structure was more loose and free, but in my mind I'm like, that doesn't really make too much of a difference for me, because the reason why I love Nelson so much is because they really care about what they do there. And yes, it's true that a lot of people in Nelson may not like their job because of how structured it is and how they are supposed to behave at work and all the regulations that go across in Nelson. But to be honest, when you walk out of Nelson, you learn. Especially if you become a student manager, you will learn what it takes to be professional, what it takes to be, a good person. I don't know. You'll learn responsibility, you'll learn organization, time management, all those things. You'll learn that within the first at least week. All those things you have to really, really get at. And that's just why I love Nelson so much.